So, how do I even start this? Hey guys, so today I wanted to speak a little bit more about my choice to be sober, why I am sober and I don't drink alcohol or take any drugs anymore. So most people, when I tell them that I'm sober for 7 years now, they act really shocked. It's not a phase. It's not a fun little thing I do for charity. It's a necessity. Honestly, I never thought that it would last this long myself, but here I am. And it is my life, and my life has 100% changed since going sober. And also I am 100% sure that I will never go back to my previous lifestyle. Now that I am aware of what these products were doing to me and to others around me, how they affected all of us, I realized that there's no way I could go back to having those products again. So I guess I'll explain a little bit of my story first of all. So I started drinking when I was around 14 years old. It was very much binge culture kind of drinking. In the UK, it's really popular from a young age to start drinking really heavily with the intended purpose to get drunk, to get completely fucked, and yeah, that's it. It's not because you like the taste or something. It's not to just, I don't know, like just have one drink to enjoy with your friends. No, binge culture is all about getting completely fucked, getting completely wasted, forgetting your nights. I was constantly blacking out, right? From the age of 14. I was blacking out, couldn't remember anything that happened the night before. And you know what's pretty scary is that that wasn't scary for me. Like it felt normal because it didn't just happen to me, it happened to all the people that I was surrounding myself with as well. They were doing the same things as me, which is why it was really hard to recognize as a problem, because it was normalized. My relationship with alcohol in particular was just all about an escape from reality. There were a lot of things that I didn't want to face, a lot of insecurities and feelings of not being enough as I am that I didn't want to address. And I didn't know that at the time because, you know, well, especially when you're younger and you're not given the tools to deal with that, and you're not shown like a healthy way to face your problems, alcohol seems like a pretty good solution, a pretty good escape. And it works, honestly. It works to escape those problems for a while. Long term? No, it's not a solution. It's not going to cure that problem. It's not going to help you get to the roots of why you feel that way, why you feel so inadequate in life, and why you don't love yourself for who you really are. It's never ever gonna get to that. It's never. I used to put myself in really dangerous situations again and again, like for example jumping in random cars and taxis to make my way home and not telling anyone where I was or who I was with ever, constantly like losing my phone and my keys, and just all the time. And not many people around me would express concern for this out of control behavior, because the people around me thought it was normal. They were doing it too. It wasn't like I drank alone, so it didn't look like a problem. You know, when you think of someone who has an alcohol addiction, you think of someone who needs to drink all the time and, you know, is drinking every single day. There are a lot of people with alcohol problems that it doesn't look like that. You can be a social drinker and have an alcohol problem, and that's what happened with me. I was more of a social drinker, so people didn't recognize it as a problem, myself included. Whenever people actually did express concern for my behavior with alcohol, I would just ignore them, and I would think they don't get me, they don't understand my life, like I don't have a problem, they think I have a problem, but I'm okay, I'm cool, I'm really strong-willed like that. And honestly, I just used to think they were boring most of the time and like worrying too much about me, and I just didn't get that. It was only when I went vegan around that time, 7 years ago as well, which was when I first started to recognize it as a problem. I first started to realize how alcohol was affecting me, my life and my choices that I was making every day, and what I was using it for, you know, the real reasons behind that. And then I found a few people who identified as straight edge, and this means they don't take alcohol or do any drugs, right? And I was listening to some hardcore music. I started to hear in the lyrics and what these people were telling me that there was another way, right? That I didn't need to do that. There were people who were rebelling from this. There were people out there who were choosing to go against that, choosing to not consume those products for ethical reasons and for reasons which started to make a lot of sense to me, because they were talking about how people were using it as an escape from reality, and I was like, oh, hello, that's what I've been doing. And at that point, as soon as I started to realize that, everything hit me. I realized why I used to always cry when I was drunk. I used to get so upset all the time. Like, if you ask any of my friends, family from back then, I used to cry so much. But when I wasn't drinking, I never cried. Like, I never expressed my emotions. I would also always like really tell people how much I loved them when I was drunk, and just get really emotional, and on top of being completely reckless and just not listening to anyone. But yeah, I started to realize that these were things that I was unable to do without alcohol. Like, I would never tell people how much I loved them. I would never show my emotions. I would never express how I really felt about things. I would never speak my truth. And I was using alcohol to hide that, and as a tool to do those things without realizing. And that just doesn't seem healthy to me. That really doesn't seem healthy to me, that I would need a product so much to change who I am. Or I would need a product in order for me to, I would need to be consuming a product that was hurting me just in order to express my emotions, in order to show people who I really was, in order to communicate my feelings and my vulnerability. No, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't. So then I completely cut out alcohol and drugs in my life, because I was taking other drugs as well, not just alcohol. But alcohol was like the main problem here. But yeah, I stopped. I completely stopped. I said, right, from tomorrow, same like I did with going vegan, from tomorrow I will no longer consume these products. I'm gonna start dealing with my problem. And it's worth noting here that I am that kind of person who's really strong-willed, and I am totally able to just cut something out. Even if I'm pretty dependent on it, I can just cut it out like that. But not everyone is like that. For a lot of you watching, it may not be the case for you. You may really struggle to give up alcohol, and for you, I would say seek support. I would say go to support groups. Really, I've heard really great things about them. There's nothing really to be afraid of there. Yeah, it might be difficult to recover from this addiction, but you're gonna feel so good at the end of it. It's gonna be worth it, and you'll look back and you'll see how far you've come, and you'll make so much progress in your life and be really grateful that you did that for yourself. So this is like the ultimate self-care, right? Self-love. Do it so you can be your greatest version and shine for who you really are. And if you want to reach out to me for support, please do. If I can help in any way, I swear I will. So then I started to look at the friends I was surrounding myself with, because they were constantly like calling me, messaging me, saying, hey, come hang out, like, do you want to get a drink? And you know, getting a drink didn't mean just getting a drink, by the way. Getting a drink was getting completely drunk. So I would meet up with them and I would go for a drink, but I would have like water or juice or like an energy drink, and I'd be totally happy with that. I felt really good about my choices. But then the other people who I was hanging out with, they didn't feel good about my decision to do that. They didn't like my choice. They didn't like that I was choosing to be sober now and not drink with them and not partake in the same kind of activities as them anymore. And they really saw that as a problem, and it was through their insecurities that they projected onto me that I would feel like crap, because they would try to constantly convince me, oh, you need just have one drink for me, just do a shot for my birthday, it's my birthday, well, you're not going to do a shot for my birthday? And I know it sounds ridiculous, but when you're someone who is actually trying to recover from problem with some kind of addiction or any kind of problem, and the people who you love and who you've been surrounding yourself with since you were, you know, young, are trying to convince you to not change, to carry on with that same pattern that they are in as well, it can be hard, you know, it can be really difficult. There were many times where I kind of almost gave in and I was like, it's just one, I guess, but I'm so glad I didn't. Honestly, I didn't, and I'm so proud of myself for that I stuck to my convictions and stayed strong. And in the end, I kind of drifted away from those people. I realized that a lot of those relationships were based on alcohol and drinking together, and you know, because I was growing away from that, suddenly I found myself with not many friends, and it was that was the most difficult part of the journey for me, was suddenly finding myself very alone. I totally forgot to say this earlier, but yeah, as much as you will lose friends, you will gain new friends as well. So please don't worry about losing friends because of giving up alcohol or any kind of problem in your life, because the people who are meant to drop out will drop out, and that's fine, that's okay, because we all heal at different rates, we all grow in different ways, we're all on our own journeys, and sometimes, you know, we don't resonate with other people's decisions and changes. And if your decision to go sober means other people around you are going to treat you a bit differently, then so be it. This is a journey that you need to go on for you, and you need to allow yourself that time alone to reflect on your decisions, to reflect on where you are in your life and what you really want to do with it. And if other people are really stopping you from being able to do that, then it's totally okay to grow apart, and you will find new friends, you will find new support that you didn't even know existed. You will find so much love and support on this journey, because this is a very meaningful journey, and it's a deep journey, and there's a lot of things to talk about with those people who have been through that same struggle, who I'm sure you will find and connect with at some point. A lot of the time when you make a change in your life that other people are so resistant to, and they really don't want you to make this change, it's because of insecurities of their own that they are projecting onto you. Maybe this is feelings of inadequacy from their point, and also maybe they don't want to see you rise in this way, because it will mean that they have to kind of confront that within themselves too, and they would much prefer you to stay in the same place you've always been, so you can continue together to ignore those problems and carry on like nothing's happening. And then I realized that this is a massive problem in society, that how people would treat me when I told them I didn't drink. Their reactions were so crazy to me. It was like, oh, you're pregnant, or oh, religion, it's a religious thing, or they would just flat out say I'm boring, or, you know, didn't know how to have fun. And, you know, this is ridiculous. What, I need alcohol to have fun? I need there to be some other reason why I don't want to drink? What if you just don't want to? I now see how so many people are using alcohol in such a negative way in their life, using it as an escape from reality, as an escape from their problems, and they end up hurting themselves just like I did. I made a lot of bad choices when I was drunk. A lot that I still have embarrassing thoughts and regrets about today. How normalized alcohol and binge drink culture is in society really does worry me at this point. It really does worry me. How many of us think we can't be fun or express ourselves or get to know each other without it? And there is such an underlying feeling of not being enough as we are. Is it not strange that we have to drink in order to loosen up a situation? How we use it to ignore pain, grief, and trauma? For me, it doesn't feel right, and it doesn't actually help with healing at all. How much it's advertised everywhere as well. Remember, this is a product that they are trying to sell to us. They are marketing this as something that's fun and that's gonna make us feel good and have a great time. But the reality to that is very different. And just because something is legal, it doesn't mean that it's not harmful too. So many harmful things are sold to us as normal. And I'm so glad, so glad that I began to question this for what it really was and what it was doing to me. Otherwise, I would never have become the person that I am today. Facing my traumas, healing, working to heal them, and sharing this with the world in order to help others too. I am genuinely scared for what would have happened to me if I had not given up alcohol. If I carried on drinking recklessly like I was, I don't know where I'd be right now. Truly believe that sobriety woke me up and saved my life and made me completely transform my entire life for the better, for the absolute better, because then I began to know myself, my real self. I began to love myself as who I was and accept all of these flaws and all these insecurities and all these projections that were projected onto me as a young person. I began to see them for what they really were. And I no longer needed alcohol to hide from that anymore. I was able to actually deal with that, to take it on. Hi. And I'm so grateful, honestly. That's all I really wanted to say today. It's just that I'm so grateful to be in this place. And I just wanted to share that with you, to let you know that it's not your only option, and to honestly like get you to question this, if this is actually the right choice for you in your life. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge you for the choices that you're making. I'm just here to share with you my experience, my journey, and what, you know, how it affected me and how I've transformed that. And yeah, this is my journey into self-love. And sobriety was a big part of that. So yeah, I hope this will help you in some way. I love you and support you with your decisions. Just make sure that they are decisions that are coming from you and your real self, and not just stuff that's being thrown upon you from society as something that is normal. So yeah, love you. Bye.